I think that this conversation often gets skewed because of higher level players' egos coming into the equation. That's sort of a thing that I'm trying to establish in this community, is we're not going to look down on people based on their rank. I don't understand it. It's toxic. I want us to be a community that gets away from that. You know, I'm consistently a diamond level player. I don't think there's been a season where I didn't hit diamond. Diamond 2's the peak. I haven't hit masters yet. Maybe someday. So this isn't coming from a place of making excuses for why I'm hard stuck gold, right? This is coming from a place of just because there are people not hitting the rank you're hitting, it doesn't mean they're trash players. So that's the culture I want to build. I want us all to encourage each other and help each other get better. I want this to be a channel where like you can hone your skills and improve, because I think Apex is more fun when we all know how to play it well. And I like us being a place where you know, we can get rolled by a team and we aren't like, oh, that team's trash, I just lost because of something that has nothing to do. No, we can be like, wow, that team played that really well, and here's how they played it, and here's what I can learn from that, right? Like that I want us to be a place with some humility. And I recognize I don't always model that perfectly, right? I'm trying to improve on that. But that's what I want us to be. I think a lot of times this discussion with matchmaking really gets into ego. The number of times that someone disagrees with me on something on Apex, and they immediately go to, oh, you're clearly a plat player and I'm a masters player. Like, everybody on the internet's a masters player somehow. I'm looking at 0.4%, but every person that doesn't agree with me on the internet, they're masters. So I don't know. It must only be masters players who get on the internet in Apex Legends. So that, you know, that's sort of frustrating. But then there's this assumption that just because you're a higher level player, your opinion means more. And I got into that last week, and I guess I don't really need to rehash that, except I don't think like that. I don't believe that. You can't disregard, if you're a Masters player, you cannot disregard 99.6% of the player base. It's absurd. Their experience of this game matters too, and your continued enjoyment of this game is dependent on 99.6% of the audience continuing to support the game. So you can't just disregard what other people think. But second, this complaint last season that too many people were hitting masters was really interesting to me. And I think that's based in ego. Like, you see other people hitting this level that you've attained, or this level that's higher than what you've attained. In my case, masters is higher than what I've attained. And there's this temptation to explain it away. See other people mirroring your accomplishments or exceeding your accomplishments, and it makes you feel bad. It makes you feel less. So you've got to explain that away with, oh, well, it's just easy to do that now. When the numbers bear out that it's not really any easier than it's ever been. It's about the same as it's been. Like, these numbers have been consistent. So I think that part of the discussion it's pure ego. If you've watched a player like struggle in plat and they finally moved up to diamond, or they're finally moving up to masters, that's not an indication the game got easier. It's an indication that that person worked hard and they put in the practice and they're succeeding now, and we should be happy for them. All right. But then there's this other thing that happens, this other dynamic attached to this ego conversation, where plat players get upset when they're dropping with diamonds. And I think the egos of higher level players have sort of made plat players think badly of themselves. Like, this season, the plat number's a little up, but typically you got about a quarter to 30% of players making plat or higher. So if you're hitting platinum, congratulations, you're in the top quarter of players in this game. Like, that's good. That's an accomplishment. The side effect of that is, congratulations, you're entering the higher levels of gameplay in this game. And as a result, you're going to be playing the highest level players in the game. Not quite predators. You're not going to get preds in your lobbies, but but get used to seeing the higher level players, because the point of ranked is not to stay where you are. It's to keep trying to excel and to go further. And the only way to go further is to compete against the players that are higher level. And so like this is the proving ground, right? It's time to drop in those higher level lobbies, learn how to play the game at a higher level. And if you can't do that, you're going to get stuck. But there's nothing wrong with that. You've already made a great accomplishment. Don't get down on yourself. Don't get toxic to the people around you because you're stuck. Like, you did good. And now it's a matter of learning to play at that even higher level. Yeah, I guess a lot of this is, I'm fed up with players calling players lower than them trash and disregarding their thoughts on the game and belittling them. I don't like how much ego is in competitive game. I'd like to see a little less of that. And that has affected this matchmaking conversation, because at the end of the day, the conversation from the higher level players tends to be, they see people getting into these ranks and they think, well, that doesn't make sense. They're not as good as I am, so they clearly don't deserve to be there. And therefore, it must just be easy to get here now. It's not. It's not. Stop downplaying other people's accomplishments. If you're hitting plat, congrats, you did well. You don't get an ego about you. There's still plenty more to go. And if you're stuck at plat 4, like, you've particularly got some things to learn. You get up over plat 4, all right, if you hit plat 4, you're a pretty good player. You're a good player. You get out of plat 4 up to plat 3, plat 2, plat 1, you are a really good player. You hit diamond, you are a great player. You hit masters, less than 0.5% of players are doing that. You are incredible. And let's acknowledge that. If you're in gold, you're not trash. That's average. Like, that's typical. You're doing fine. And if you hit silver and bronze, like, you're still not trash. All right. I hate how we call people trash based on their ranking in a freaking video game. All right. It's not all about becoming the best in the world. Okay. Whether we're talking sports or video games or whatever, I think it's much healthier to get this mindset that it's about being the best that you can be. Honestly, you're not going to hit diamond or masters or pred unless you're willing to sink a lot of time into this game. Unless you're able to sink a lot of time into this game. There's a time commitment that's involved, and not everyone can make it. And it is okay to just play ranked for the fun of it. There are people across the country who go and play in like pickup leagues in all kinds of sports all the time. Soccer, football, basketball. And they have fun, and there's a little competition to it. And it's not about trying to be Steph Curry, right? It's okay to compete at the level you're at and to enjoy the competition and to just focus on trying to get better than you were the day before. And that's what I want this stream to be about. And I hope to model that a little bit better in the future. And I hope to see the matchmaking conversation just get cleaned up a little bit here. Let's stop downplaying other people's accomplishments, and let's stop being toxic to people that haven't excelled to the extent that we have. Instead, why can't we just like focus on helping people improve? That's what I want. That's what I want to do. That's what I want this to be. And so this is sort of a separate conversation. Chat, it's time for something. I've always said that plat 4 is the proving ground. It's the dividing point. It's where you go from a good player to, you decide if you're going to go from a good player to a great player. It's where a lot of people get stuck. I wish Apex did like other games and showed the percentage of players in each tier of each of these ranks. I guarantee you the tier 4 of every rank is the fullest of every rank, because people get stuck, and in Apex you can't get demoted. Kind of a side point, I think what would improve the matchmaking and improve the overall play experience is if you could get demoted, because once people get hard stuck, they tend to stop trying and they just rush every fight. But that's neither here nor there. I've always thought plat 4 was sort of the dividing line. If you're mechanically skilled, you can get to plat 4. But if you don't learn game sense, you're going to get stuck. If you got good game sense, you can get to plat 4. But if you don't improve your mechanical skill, you're going to get stuck. If you don't start bringing together everything and growing in every aspect of Apex, you won't excel beyond that point. And as a result, I've always considered plat 4 like this desert that you have to cross before you enter into like the higher level gameplay of Apex. And I still believe all those things are true. But I also recognize within myself this tendency to get toxic toward players who are hard stuck in plat 4, which flies in the face of everything that I just spent time saying. And so we've got a quote. We got a quote here on my channel. Quote 4, right? Can't do it. I can't go back to plat 4 again. And it's a place that I struggle. I don't like to play those matches. But it tends to veer into me reflecting on the players in those matches rather than the challenge of being in those matches. And so chat, it's time. In the interest of being consistent, being true to the things that I'm saying here, it's time to retire quote 4. We will no longer be bad-mouthing ranks in Apex. Quote 4 has been retired. We're gonna stop giving into that impulse, because from now on, this stream is about celebrating people's accomplishments and helping them to improve and to be better than they were yesterday. And we can't do that if we're looking down on people. So, quote 4 is dead. No more of that. We're done. And whether you are in bronze or in pred, can we all try to get some of the ego out of this game? I'd really like that. It'd be a much more welcoming place if people didn't have to get flamed for their rank every time they play this game. And every time they tried to talk about this game, and every time they tried to discuss what they want this game to be. Let's improve this. All right.